Car culture sucks. I don't know what happened, man, but it just seems like nowadays you only hear about it for negative reasons. It's like same shit, different day, every day. I wanted to talk about why the culture is dying and why I doubt it's ever gonna come back. Just for you to get a base understanding of the modern car culture, it really all started in the 60s when people would start modifying their muscle cars to push more power out of them, specifically for drag racing. Then in the early 70s, gas crisis hit, so big ass American muscle cars they weren't the move anymore. People started buying more fuel efficient, small European cars, but more importantly for the car community, they also started buying Japanese cars. 80s come around, niggas in the professional racing world are just starting to get a grip of turbochargers, which meant they could use smaller engines and put out more power while saving fuel. The 90s was when turbos became more available, and from there on, the car community grew fast. Mostly because it was easier than ever to buy a little car, add a turbo, do some ECU tuning, and it was relatively cheap. Big cities like New York, LA, Atlanta, Houston all developed unique car cultures that became popular in pop culture. LA had the lowriders, New York had the racing scene, Atlanta had donks, Houston had a combo of the donks and lowriders, sort of. It was weird. And then Fast and Furious released in 2001, Japanese cars became way more popular there, just because it was so easily accessible. Whether you wanted Japanese, European, American, they were all readily available for purchase and for tuning. I'd say this era of car culture, just people modifying their cars for the love of it, continued until about early to mid 2010s, and that's when the death of car culture began.
I just left Houston, I just left Earth, lean in my car, gas in my blunt, got some hoes who gon' fuck, I'm still pouring up, I can
Big YouTubers buying the same car over and over again, doing the same neon green, radiation, shit, piss, fucking vinyl rap, and you're not doing it for the love of the cars, they're doing it for attention, and attention is something that I'm going to be talking about a lot in this video. Once people started buying the same Huracans and GTRs and all that stupid shit, people started to realize that cars could be a reliable way to get famous. Of course, cars have gotten people famous beforehand. I mean, look at racing drivers and street racers, like, hey, Smokey Nagata. But this was a different type of fame. This was social media fame. Clout. And you know the saying, it's a hell of a drug. And drugs make niggas do stupid things. It became more normal for people to be buying these $150,000 cars and modding them so shittily that people were all but forced to look at them and give them attention. This is also where you start to see the trend of famous people crashing their cars. Like, look, the clout era, I'll always be blessed to have lived through it related to the music. I'm pretty sure that was all it was good for. The music, YouTube was decent, but that's it. They really put a massive dent in the image of car culture because now people assume that if you had a car that was slightly beyond normal, that you were doing it for attention and for fame rather than for the love of it. Basically, just dumb people shine the brightest in all communities. It's no different for the car community. So coming out of the clout era, we get to 2018, 2019. And honestly, I think it's a real sweet spot for car culture when people started being able to separate clout chasers from real car lovers. And more importantly, when cars were still accessible. Of course, they've gotten more expensive over the years, but they're still pretty good. Fuck. Once the pandemic hit, cars immediately hiked in price because everything else did. Just a given. Like, I'm no economist, but that's as best as I can explain it. $500 to $3,000, you could buy some pretty decent cars there. But now they're being pushed up into the mid-thousands, 4K, 5K, 6K, 7K, 8K. Like, why the fuck would a Ford Crown Victoria be anything more than like 5K Canadian? Why? What kind of bullshit is that? Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on Japanese cars. I swear, Japanese cars, more than anything, took the biggest hit because of the clout era and the pandemic. So like supercars, they were the poster children of the clout era, you know? The Supra especially got its reputation and prices ruined because of social media. Mostly TikTok kids saying they'd take a fucking Toyota over an SLS AMG. Saying they had 1,000 horsepower bone stock because they saw some dude pour hundreds of thousands of dollars turning his Supra into an 1,800 horsepower monster drag car. Like, don't get me wrong, 2JZ GTE might just be one of the best straight six, not even straight, it might be one of the best engines ever. It's not better than the Barra, but like, it's ridiculous. And I love the Supra. I think it's one of the best built cars ever made, but like, shit. Why isn't A80 Supra like $80,000? Like, what the, why is an RX-7 like $60,000 fucking dollars? TikTok from here on out would start to play a much bigger role in the decline of car culture. Like, it was easier than ever to get famous off TikTok, internet famous specifically. And I'd say in late 2022, early 2023, a brand new subgenre of car people, not lovers, began to show. Mostly showing up in New York, people started to do something they'd never done before with cars, or at least not to this extent. They began to show how they used their cars illegally. Now, of course, I'm not about to come in here and say that niggas were saints back then. Like, the most influential piece of car culture media in America was based off of illegal street racing. It's always been a part of the culture, literally dating back to like NASCAR in the 40s, because that was all just moonshine runners trying to say, I wonder how fucking fast I can make this goddamn thing. I want to see if I can outrun the police. Oh, I'm also going to race around a fucking oval with moonshine in the back, and I'll beat you and I'll fuck your wife afterwards, or some shit like that. It's always been a part of the culture. The difference between now and then is that now they're making no effort to conceal it. It always used to be hidden. You'd always have those people in the 90s with cameras document the street racing scene. Midnight Racing Team in Tokyo. Does that ring any bells? But now it's like you expect people to do this rather than it being a niche that only the best of the best would even consider doing. Niggas like Where's 981, Squeeze, these two may just be some of the most detrimental people in the car culture. Both of them in New York, both of them driving fast German cars, both of them documenting their ability to finesse the police, making it look easy, and both of them making just any random dude with a shitty ass BMW think that they could get famous off it too. This is when swimming / cutting up, I don't know which one to call it, became mainstream rather than a small portion of the community. And pretty much every single swimmer was a terrible driver and caused road accidents and caused shit like insurance to rise, and for police to be even more stringent on modified cars, which affects everybody with a modified car. Like, I'm scared. Like, look, I'm about to have a Mazda 6, and I wanted to put an exhaust on it because honestly, the Skyactiv Straight 4 is not that bad of an engine, surprisingly. I'm scared that if I put an exhaust on it, I might get tickets. Why? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't incite fucking a riot. It doesn't make the car ridiculously fast. It just makes it a little bit louder. But dumb niggas shine the brightest. That's all I can say. It's spread out of New York to across the states and even up here into Canada. And if you go out to your city, you'll probably find some dude with a broke up BMW just revving it near a high school when he sees a group of girls walking by. For the record, by the way, they don't like cars, bro. We've been over this for like 20 years. You pull up in a Maybach, of course they're gonna be fucking like, okay. You pull up in a fucking Acura TL with a loud exhaust and you rev it, there's like a 50-50 chance you get pepper sprayed. This is all before mentioning what I think did the most damage to this already criticized community. Oh my goodness gracious. I hate niggas who go to takeovers. Like, the concept of takeovers have been around forever, just in a slightly different format. Because back then, a group of people would gather and do some hooliganry on the outskirts of a city. Industrial areas, abandoned neighborhoods, fucking parking lots, that kind of shit. Eventually, some of the people there would move closer to the city to start racing. Not something to be proud of, but it's been around ever since like the 60s. The difference is it used to be a down low sort of endeavor, something that's meant to be kept hidden. Maybe bring a dude with a camera and make a video mixtape from it and put it on the fucking internet in 2002. Maybe. Now, you try to go to a normal car meet, you got some bum ass nigga with a straight pipe Civic or a straight piped Acura TL or a straight piped BMW 338i. Is that even a car? No, it's 328i, my fault. You have some retard there revving it for no reason, getting everybody angry, getting the person who's actually managing the car meet, they're the ones getting in trouble for that, doing burnouts. Like, fuck you. Fuck you. Little side note here for the black community in the car culture, by the way. The real car culture. We're struggling right now. Striker cars stolen cars being used at takeovers. And next thing you know, you're driving your normal Camaro ZL1 because you actually worked for it. You get pulled over because you're a person of interest. Because, you know, thug niggas are out sliding it and shit in the middle of an intersection. I know, nothing we can do about it. People now will always see a black person with a nice car and call you the usual suspect if you've ever been on Instagram. We got to do as much as we can to shed this image, but what are you going to do? And for the thug niggas who do this, I'll dead turn into Uncle Ruckus talking to you. Just hold on. You are already predisposed to being profiled by niggas in the car community. So you go ahead and make yourself a bigger target and give them a reason to be racist. Lock the fuck in. The fuck is wrong with you? Stop stealing Hellcats. Stop stealing Kia Souls. If you're gonna keep doing it, don't take it to a takeover, please. Do your thug nigga shit away from, you know, normal people, please, before I get shot for driving a normal car. Stop! With every car meet you go to now, there's like a 50-50 chance of it turning into a takeover, and you have people destroying infrastructure and getting in fights and pointing fucking blicks with lasers, all that thug hood rat shit. It's not only not fun to be in the car community anymore, it's not safe. You could get indicted for just being caught in the crossfire there. It's like you were compliant with it. It all comes down to the same thing. Everything I've talked about, apart from prices, has come down to the same thing. Niggas just want attention. There doesn't seem to be a love for car culture as much as there used to be. Because people don't get into the car scene for the love of driving, or engineering, or building, or the community. They get into it because they can get attention from it. They can get money off of it. Whether it's clout chasing, blatantly showing your street racing, fucking takeovers. Like even other communities, like red pill niggas, they want a car because they think all of a sudden they'll be fucking swimming in pussy. Like the actual group of people who love cars, either one, isn't as big anymore, or two, chooses not to make their love for cars public because of the stigma that comes with it. It's a shame to see where the community that I've loved since I was like, before I even had conscious memory, I was playing Gran Turismo at like 2 years old. My dad would put a controller in my hand and he's like, play. Like I've loved cars since I was still shitting in diapers. It just means that less and less people will be a part of this community. People are actively moving away from cars. And I don't think the community will ever be as good as it was before. I don't think the community will ever be as good as it was beforehand, just because I know there's a lot of people that genuinely do love cars out there, but dumb niggas shine the brightest. Side note, by the way, I agree with hating the car-centric city ideals. I don't like it. Making shit only accessible by car is stupid. Giving people the choice to take good public transit or walk so that there's way less worse drivers on the road, which means it's better for the people who actually want to drive and it's safer and cheaper. It's also way better for the environment. I'm all for that. Because I don't want somebody who doesn't want to drive to be on the road, because that means they won't be paying attention. And that means I'm in trouble. I hope you enjoyed my poorly made, quickly written rant about the car community and how retarded it's become. Gotta say, Bladed Angels video inspired me to make this, to have my own personal take on it. If he watched this, by the way, Bladed Angel, congrats on beating cancer. Didn't even fucking know you had it. I guess that was the whole point. But like, hey, 7 years of watching. All love, dude. To the other people, thank you for making it this far. I don't know how you made it this far without getting tired of my voice. So all love. Have a good day or night or morning or whenever you're watching this.